Come on, come on, come on. Come on in, y'all. Come on, come on, come on in, y'all. Hey, boo. How you been doing? I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, Auntie. How you doing? How you been doing today? I've been doing good, boo. I've been doing good. Over here talking junk with your mama. Over here talking junk with your doggone mama. No. I'm glad to hear that, Auntie. I'm glad to hear that, Auntie. We'll be getting started in a minute, y'all. I always just give a few minutes for everybody to come in. We are excited and pumped up and so glad everything's running smooth in Jesus' name for right, right now, technology. So we'll be getting started in a few minutes. Come on in, tune in, y'all, and get started to be able to um, talk about there's so many things. I'm just writing some stuff down, y'all, to be able to remember. Hey, Teresa, how you doing? You doing all right this evening? I've been seeing you over there glowing and showing, girl. Glowing and showing. Uh-huh. We got to talk about some stuff, huh? Who tell sister, hey, who, auntie? Hey, Apostle, you see it? You see us on in. You see us on in. We're gonna get started, y'all. You seeing us Jesus done worked it out. He done worked it out. Doing good. Thank you for asking, Teresa. You know I gotta mess with you. We just gotta talk about a little sound and see what's going on. Okay, I'm being extra. Let me stop. Oh, okay. Greetings, everybody. Thank you all for tuning back in again to Soaring Above It All with Laquanza. With the Soaring Above It All is always going to be the statement that no matter what you go through and no matter what you face, that you can come out of it on the other side where there's grace, where there's peace, where there's love, where there's understanding, and most important thing, where there is Jesus. Okay, so tonight we have something great, something special. We have somebody great, somebody special as well that's going to be sharing her story and going to be sharing her testimony about the things that she has experienced and the things that she has faced throughout the years. And surely I have to say my thanks. And surely I've been knowing her for a lot of years, but I personally know her for the last 11 years, and we serve at the church together. We sing, we have sung for years together, and I love her and she loved me, and she know when I get to start showing out, and I know when she gets to start showing out. Showing out, we just cut up like that sometimes. So we learned to love each other. Despite about if we get on each other's nerves, we learn to love each other and just care for each other, because you got to do that anyways. So I am about to welcome her into the room, into the building. I want everybody in the comment sections, if you don't mind, put clapping hands as we begin to welcome Diane Benton. I call her AKA Boo. So majority of the time, if you ever hear me say boo, that's what I call her, okay? So we welcome her into the building. Come on, y'all. Woo!
Hey, how y'all doing?
Woo! I'm doing good. We're gonna see what's going on.
Yes.
I'm so glad to see your beautiful face. You look beautiful.
And
As
so do
always.
you. So do
Thank
you,
so
baby.
much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, surely I'll say my part about who Diane means to me, but I want Diane to tell us more about herself in this moment.
All right. First of all, I just want to give God all the glory, honor, and praise. And I thank you for allowing me to be on your awesome podcast. So thank you for the invitation. I really do appreciate it. So I'm gonna start off a little bit about me. I'm a senior citizen. I'll be 66 in November. Yes, I thank God for that in Jesus' name. I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and I have 12 grandchildren. We a family of 8. 3 of them have passed away. Um, my mother is no longer with us. My father, grandparents are no longer with us. But that's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I love the Lord. I love Jesus Christ. And He is the head of my life. I'm a work in progress, y'all. So I'm a work in progress. Yeah. I haven't arrived, but I have accomplished some things with Jesus on my side. Being a way maker.
Yes, that's what He is. Ain't that what He is? So
yes.
Everybody was saying hey in the comment section. And
Hello.
Apostle said, come on in the room. Toka said, hey, mom. And
Hey, babe.
Evangelist Vicky said, hey, ladies. Hey, bitches. Okay, so now we know some of the things that make you who you are. So we have an icebreaker before we get into actually asking the questions. Our icebreaker is, tell us something that you love to do and why.
Okay. One thing I really love to do, I love to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I really love to sing. I love a lot of type of music, different type of music, but
Yeah.
I really love worshiping God.
Yeah.
Um, I love to be inspired in with the music that I try to bring forth. I know it's not about me. You know, God gave me the
Yes.
opportunity to sing. Now I'm not Aretha Franklin or Patti LaBelle. I'm Diane. So I thank him for
Mhm.
that gift. It's very important to me. I've been singing probably ever since I was 5. So I thank him for
Tell
that.
them
That's
about
one
your
thing I
song.
love.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I ain't mean to
Excuse
interrupt.
me.
Tell them about your
What
song
did you
and
say?
tell them about your song you wrote.
Well, I was going through a situation, doing a separation, and I wrote a song and I made a CD. I about done forgot the name of the song to tell you the truth.
I know
You know
it.
what
What
I'm
would you
saying?
do?
But yeah, what would you do if you walked in my shoes?
Yes.
So, you know, I wrote that song during a dark time in my life.
Mhm.
But I love music. I love writing um, things. No, well, basically, I love writing music. You know, I can write
Mhm.
poetry and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't do it consistently, but I do know how to, you know, write. But I
Mhm.
love makeup. I love hair. I'm a hairstylist. I
Mhm.
graduated from Virginia College in 2013, but of course, you know, I just do hair occasionally now when people ask. And I'm also a banking specialist.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing. And I guess sometimes people don't realize, and I know you understand that how music and writing it is so therapeutic. Like it really helps soothe you. It really helps you um, get out what can be like in your heart or what can be in your
Exactly.
mind. It helps you to get out and then actually just it can be in a testimony form. So, um, so that is a great thing that you do. Even when you write the poetry, that is a great thing. It's a healing process, and our healing
Yes.
process is for us and also for other people as well. So, with all of that being said, um, I'm Diane because I want to say her name so y'all know who I'm talking about because I want to say Boo, but I'm saying Diane for a reason. So Diane just told us about who she is and the things that she loved to do and the things that she loves to do and the song she had wrote and she writes poetry as well. So now we want to get into some questions and we want to ask. Tell us about young Diane. We're going to start right there at that moment because some people don't realize our childhood affects us in so many ways. And a lot of things occurs that happens in our childhood that happens to other people as well. So tell us about young Diane.
Well, young Diane, and I have to go back, way back. But young Diane, she was born in New York. Um, I remember growing up in that city. Um, I used to have bronchitis. I couldn't hardly breathe up there. The EMS used to always come, you know, to pick me up and take me to the hospital because of the bronchitis up there. So I had bronchitis tremendously bad in New York. I can remember young Diane. I went to PS 118 in New York. And I remember one day I was going to school. My little brother, he passed away. His name is Kenny. We could walk to school, right? And he was following me on his tricycle to the school, and so I had to stop going to school and take him back to the house. So that's something about, I remember in my young days, and, in New York and stuff like that. My mom, she was just really everything to me. You just love your mom, honey. I remember a little girl, I wanted to follow her to church. You know what I'm saying? So she allowed me to follow her to church. And from that point in my life, I always had a desire to be, in church, to get to know God at the age of 5. So wow. It's not much. I just love my mom, and I saw a lot of things she had experienced that I didn't like. At an early age. We used to live with a person, I don't know if it was a border house, but it was a nice place. And I think it was on Hollis Avenue. And the man had this big, gigantic dog. I mean, the dog about, woo, so, I remember that, you know what I'm saying? So, I remember my father a little bit in the house, but yeah, basically.
Oh, wow. So is there anything else that catches your eye at this moment that you want to bring up, or any experience? It can be either good or actually bad that you experienced. So you just told us that you were and you lived in another place. Tell us the state that you lived in, and maybe like a little bit more about maybe your experiences in the state that you lived in as well.
I'm thinking that was Queens. It may have been Brooklyn. I'm not sure, but my grandma didn't live too far from us. She was at 186-26 Mainland Avenue. But basically, I remember, going over her house, and sometimes we'll go, over my aunt's house. They stayed in New York too. But really, those memories, they not too many to tell you the truth. I just remember one of my aunts had came up there. Her name was Maxine. And my mom had sent my sister, her name, my sister Sam, back to South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I can remember that eventually, my mom left my father and we was headed to South Carolina. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of things going on in that relationship with my dad. I don't know everything, just some of the things I saw, some of the altercations and things my mom went through. I didn't like it. I ain't like nobody messing with my mama. I'm little and want to, hey, Mom, you need my help. Of course. I ain't like nobody messing with my mom. So she eventually left New York.
Okay. So she left New York for, like, do you know the reason of why she left New York, or she just wanted somewhere new to go?
I think she left because the abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. And, my dad, from the little bit I know of him as a child, he wasn't that dad that was there. Mm-hmm. I can remember him, but I don't see him as the dad that provided as a father should. So mama dealt with a lot of abuse, physical and mental. And I guess within her heart, and plus she had one of her children, to South Carolina, she just wanted to get on, just leave.
Go to a better situation.
Yeah. Trying to just do something different. I can remember, we was on a train leaving New York to South Carolina. And once I got here, I started seeing chickens running around. You didn't see no chickens running around in New York. I'm like, what? Where am I? Yeah.
Like
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, almost like a culture shock, because you come from one place, up north, to actually coming down south, and it's a whole totally different, atmosphere that coming from that. Is there anything else that, like from your experience from coming up from New York to actually South Carolina that kind of like stuck out in your mind, even as a younger person?
Well, the trip coming from New York to South Carolina, when we got here, things was just totally different in my eyesight. Seeing chickens and it's looking country, and stuff, because New York had all them high-rising buildings and stuff like that. It was like getting used to another place, you know what I'm saying? And my mama at the time, she in survival mode, trying to take care of 8 kids, So she was, she did bring us here, and the grandmother that raised my mom, she wasn't actually my grandmother, but she raised my mom. My mama dealt with abandonment according to information that was provided to me.
Yeah.
According to my grandma, rest her soul, that she wasn't my grandma, but she was, you know what I'm saying? So mama she was in survival mode. I remember she had to ask grandma to help her buy a bag of coal. I didn't know what coal was. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of survival things that she had to experience with her kids.
Oh, wow. And I mean, that's to repeat the number of kids that was in all?
8. It was 8 of us.
And you are the oldest, right?
Yes, I'm the oldest of my mom kids.
Oh, wow. So
now my dad got 3 additional kids. One of them is older than me. And he had another, set of kids. So it's three additional boys that I really, really don't know like that.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So from coming from New York to down here, so you didn't have any more contact with your father at all in between any time?
Yeah, I did have a little contact with him, but not much. I think as I was growing up, as a teenager, I guess preteens, and I don't have actual dates, but I think he came down here because he wanted mama to sign some divorce papers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So I remember that, and as I got a little older, I remember, him coming to visit, but yeah, it wasn't really much. He just looked at different. I think he was dealing, as I got older in my little teenage years, he was dealing with cirrhosis of the liver.
Oh, wow. So do you think that was he an alcoholic?
Yes, he drunk. I don't know too much about the alcoholic part, but most definitely it probably was. So, it's just his stomach was tremendously big. You know what I'm saying? So when we left, it wasn't like that. But up there, people indulge in what they wanted to do.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked that is because you said he had cirrhosis, and majority of the time when people get cirrhosis, it's always because it came from the overindulging in alcoholic beverages is where that's why I just asked that. And then wanted to know, honestly, was that kind of some of the contributing factor of why he was so abusive with your mother?
I really don't know far as like why. Sometimes people just have stuff within them, because I really don't know too much about his past. You know what I'm saying? I know my grandma was his grandma, but my granddaddy, that we call granddaddy, he was not his biological father, So it's a lot of my history is like very a big old question mark. Like my mom was abandoned.
Yeah.
So I don't know my actual natural grandmother, and mama had sisters and brothers too.
Did she have sisters and brothers? Is that just with the adopted mama, or she had like sisters? Did she ever get to meet? Do you know if she ever got to meet any of her sisters and brothers from her family side, or it was no connection with the other side at all?
From
Her
her natural
biological.
mom,
Mm-hmm.
on the biological side, she did get to see them. I remember that they did come down,
Mm-hmm.
and she did get to see them. I got to see them. But as far as the names, I don't, know, kind of got blank that out. But I do remember a sister, the mom, and the brother coming down.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
do remember that. But I don't, I was young, so but I do remember that.
Oh
So
wow.
we do have family, that I really don't even know, to tell you the truth. And my mom was born in 1940, and she passed away in 2011.
Oh
So
wow.
hey, I don't know when them people at, but me and
Mm-hmm.
my sister was talking today. We may probably have, they probably had kids, like we
Mm-hmm.
had kids, and now some of our kids are having kids.
Well,
So
yeah.
I'm just, I'm not looking for nobody. I ain't got time. I'm looking for Jesus.
Oh wow. So you the oldest of eight kids. Oldest of eight kids. You moved from New York to South Carolina, changing of atmosphere to where you said you had never seen chickens running around, but now you see chickens running around. Was tell us more about like your experiences. Is there anything else that kind of like stands out in your mind? Was you did you adjust well to coming to South Carolina, or was it kind of like hard to be able to adjust to South Carolina?
It was okay. I ran into some things that I did not like, introducing us stuff like the what perversion, you know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
remember as a little girl, a person that's supposed to be some kin to me, which they really naturally is not my father, not any kin to us,
Mm-hmm.
was in a position to doing things to me that was inappropriate. I may
Oh,
have been actually raped if somebody didn't come in the room, and I'm just standing up there like a deer in head, like not even knowing what
oh,
was going on. You know what I'm saying? So
oh
some of
wow.
that negative stuff, I experienced, as a teenager, a lot of things that really have you to be carrying around spirits that you don't even know you dealing with. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, it's the truth.
So
It's the truth. So it was somebody older than you that
yeah,
came in, and were you like, do you remember like the setting or the room, like, or they just started touching you, or kind of
yeah,
about?
it was like we was in a room. It was a bed in that room. I don't know. But I remember for some reason he came in there, tried to lay me down or whatever and start, touching on me and stuff like that. But somebody did, another family member came in and it was stopped.
Oh
So
wow.
I thank God for that. But I just, for years, I didn't like him at all.
Do you
You
remember
know,
like what age you were? Do you remember like around your age, or
I
like a?
think, I think I may have been like 11,
Oh wow.
11,
So you
something
were
like that.
a child.
Yeah.
And it was a older grown person that came in and wanted to do inappropriate things with you.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things, and that perversion spirit, it just opened up other doors to
Mm-hmm.
things that you didn't even know the spirit was in control like that.
Oh wow.
Um, but
Oh wow.
from that particular situation, which I mean, it's other things that happened in my life, but it's just it was terrible for me as a child because I didn't understand, and looking at my mom having to raise 8 kids, trying to make ends meet and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was in survival mode because my grandma, back in the day, she sold bootleg liquor. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I remember that. Them Gerber jars.
I done been to a liquor house a couple of times before.
She kept money, but I remember my mama needed a bag of coal, and I think the coal one number $1.25, and she had to go through hoops to get $1.25 from my grandma.
Wow. Yeah.
My mama was actually abused by my grandmother, according to the information I have. Um, she got whooped with everything,
Oh
with
wow.
whooped with everything. She told me, even frying pans and things of that nature. So that's why she left South Carolina and met my father, and they moved to New York. You know what I'm saying? Because she
Oh
really
wow.
was trying to run from her situation, from being
Hmm.
abused by my grandma.
Oh
I
wow.
mean,
So
my
she
grandma.
ran from one situation that was abusive and then went right into the hands of somebody else that was abusive and had to run from that situation as well. And so it's honestly actually sad to tell you the truth, and it's heartbreaking at the same time, because I mean you're trying to find yourself, you're trying to grow up, and you're trying to be developed, and all of these things are happening and occurring, and it begins to cause you to um just go from one situation to another situation that's bad situations. And Apostle said, tell your story, sis. Somebody needs to hear your story so they can share it, so they can have courage and share.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Kanisha said, thank God that somebody came into the room and
Thank God.
on later. So wow, okay. So oh wow.
So yeah,
So
mama, she left abuse. I'm
mhm.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I had one to ask. So your mom was actually from South Carolina.
Yes.
Oh wow. Oh, that's yeah. Oh wow.
Well, let me say this. Her mother abandoned her. So I don't really know where her origin was, but from what I know, South Carolina is what I know. But, being raised
Oh.
by the adopted mother,
Mm-hmm.
from my information, my mama was left in a house. And
Oh,
according to the information I received, said dogs was in the house. And my grandma took her. But my grandma did provide for my mom, but she was abusive. So
oh,
my mama was trying to get out of that situation, and then ran into another situation with my daddy, which
mm-hmm.
was abusive. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
then she ended up leaving because my mama ended up getting cut by my father. Now I didn't see that, but she did have scars, marks on her body.
Oh wow. Mm.
So
Jesus.
she eventually left and, was in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
But the things I had to see my mama go through, I'm telling you, the things she had to do to feed kids and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, she was a strong woman. She was going to make sure that we were taken care of. But the
Mm-hmm.
relationship she had to get in, I
Mm.
just couldn't
Yeah.
hardly stand them. I couldn't stand them. The things she had to do for money and stuff like that, I hated it. So even as a grown adult, I don't even look at people for money. I don't look at a
Mm.
man to see how much he got in his pocket. Maybe I should have, and maybe I would have, had the right kind. But yeah, seeing the thing.
It's not funny. I'm not fooling you. Ooh. Understood, and it's you know what? It's just a sad, crazy thing. But I mean, I get what you're saying, that if you've seen it from firsthand, that this is the things that you have to do to be able to survive, then some of those very things you learn lessons from. You learn lessons from through not just your own experience, but a lot of times you can learn lessons from other people's experiences too. So I could understand why you would feel that way. Now I want to go back and ask a question. So I know you was talking about earlier when you was talking about with the spirit of perversion, and with the spirit of perversion, because surely you, as kids, you don't know that that's what it is, but usually it's, somebody coming in inappropriately touching, and inappropriately touching that begins to cause so many other things to be able to happen. Did you want to elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, from that experience, it wasn't just only that experience. As a little girl too, a girl had, was touching me inappropriately. I didn't even understand what going on, but she did something so whack that happened to me too, where she, was on top of me or whatever. I'm just like dumb and everything. And I ended up telling my mom about it, and which my mom did with me. You know what I'm saying? She said, "You don't never let nobody, touch you, in a wrong kind of way." You know what I'm saying? So at this time, I had the guy that did that and a girl. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even realize at the time that spirits was in me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was still a virgin. At least I wasn't raped, praise the Lord.
Yes.
But it just opened up things that you may not even understand or not. I started like I want to try to experience what sex is about.
Yeah.
With not, really thinking it in my mind without actually doing it. Seemed like it was getting on me hard. Like, want to be.
It's like when I feel like it's a violation happens, it begins to start open you up to things that shouldn't even be open at that young age. And so, because I can only speak about for my experience, it caused me to being inappropriately touched as a kid. You could call it molestation, inappropriately touched. I just say inappropriately touched as a kid caused me to be able to have a spirit of perversion. But when I had a spirit of perversion, I was a little kid. I was a first grader. And being open to that is I feel like the reason why the enemy does it to kids so easily sometimes is because when it's so easily, you can be touched inappropriately, then you touch somebody else inappropriately, and it's always so innocently that you just act out what was acted out upon you, and so you just begin to do it. Because for me, it was just with kids in general, girls, boys, just hunching, what we call hunching at that time. And it begins to open a doorway that not just opens for you as a young lady, as a teenager, and as an adult. Because sometimes, even for me, the first time God ever told me that no, you got to go to the root of the thing. You can't talk about this and you not hit the root of it. And it was the spirit of perversion. It was all the way from a kid that I had carried on all the way from a kid to a teenager, from a teenager to an adult, and I had it in my relationships that I shared with me and other people. So I just it's amazing, I know, but I just think that he attacks kids because it can be passed on so innocently. You hunching. That's what we did. So
it was go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
It just make you really want to start really being sexually active too. Because I start looking at guys, want to have, a boyfriend, and some of them boys was really, really, really ready to be intimate, but I wasn't really ready to go that far. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
sometimes like in relationships, if you're not pushing out or doing what they want you to do, they move along. They get the next girl that's willing to go beyond the point of stop or no,
Oh yeah, that's
So
true.
I was curious, but I wasn't really ready to, really get totally involved like that to a little bit later on as a teenager.
Oh wow, yeah. That's how it got that curiosity. You begin to spark that curiosity, and you got to see. I want to see what it do. I want to see what it's working with. So as we went through those stages right there, and the understanding of there were some things that was experience that you didn't want to also experience as a older person. So tell us more about even Diane as a teenager. How did all of these things that you experience and all of these things that you see affect you as a teenager?
Well, in my childhood, just backing up a tad bit,
Okay, that's
um,
fine.
the things that my mom went through, and
Mm-hmm.
she was abused with her mom, then she married abuse, and then she had abusive relationships.
Oh
You know what I'm
wow.
saying?
Yeah.
She kept getting it. I mean, we was traumatized. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
had I had an experience where we had a stepfather that he did provide for us, but it was a lot of violence and stuff like that. Because when he get
Mm-hmm.
mad, he'd tear up the house. So I saw a lot of stuff my mama went through with him. So as a teenager growing up, I met one of her friend guys. I liked him. His name was Marshall. I remember he bought me a candy cane, a big candy cane, and a hat or something for Christmas. I just liked
Mm-hmm.
him a lot. He ended up getting killed while I was a child because he was
Oh.
he was
Mm-hmm.
my mom's boyfriend, and they had a liquor house right next door, and it was an altercation
Wow.
with the man looking at my mom, and he said something, and he ended up getting killed. I was devastated. So as a child, I experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things growing up. Here I
Mm-hmm.
am toting all this stuff, not even realize
Mm-hmm.
that it is affecting me.
Yep.
So as a teenager, you know, being
Mm.
introduced to things like the violations of people touching you inappropriately, then I start, again wanting a boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and I started
Mm-hmm.
accepting stuff that I shouldn't have accepted because I
Mm-hmm.
believe in my spirit. I believe I didn't love myself from what I was
Yep.
seeing growing up, carrying it, not realizing it. I didn't love myself, so I'm in accepting stuff that I shouldn't have even been accepting in a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
as a teenager, I think I think I lost my virginity. I may have been 14 or 15. You know what I'm saying? And that relationship was like basically I'm your girlfriend in the house, but when you outside in public, it's a different situation. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So he
Yeah.
didn't treat me the way I didn't even know I should have been treated. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I realized in my teenage years, my mama used to say, "You can't even throw out dishwater for being in their house all the time."
Mm-hmm.
I thought everybody was cool. Used to eating everything over the people's house and everything, and come to find out the person was doing witchcraft, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, at the age of 17, I end up having a nervous breakdown.
Before you get there, tell about what was some of your experience that caused you to understand that, you know, because sometimes our parents will tell us stuff and our parents will tell us stuff, and we think our parents just be talking, because sometimes they'll say it, but they don't go into full details because we can't understand everything they're saying. So sometimes I learned that when my parents said something, they were really seeing something that I couldn't see, or they knew something that I didn't know. But sometimes, in order for you not to kind of like push a kid further into their arms, you don't really just, you know, you say it, but you don't really just push and push and push. But I want to know what caused you to understand that or know that this person was participating in witchcraft.
From the experience that I had, I remember me and her daughter was good friends, you know, and I dated the brother. I used to spend the night over there and everything. And one day I was spending the night with my friend girl, which that was, you know, my boyfriend at the time, sister, and somebody was standing over me and I couldn't move. And when I woke up, like a piece of my jewelry was missing, like an earring or something like that. So I used to eat over there and everything all the time. And, you know, people say stuff, you know what I'm saying? As far as just seeing somebody riding a broom, you know, you ain't got to be riding a broom to be a witch, you know?
No, you don't.
Working roots. That's what they used to say back in the day. Or even feeding you something, putting some in your food.
Oh, yeah.
Before, you know, that's the kind of experience I had.
Yes, because I guess some people don't understand that, you know, you can't, you know, we want to be all right with eating at everybody's house, but you cannot eat from everybody. You can't take stuff from everybody. You can't participate, even if you want to, with everything that they do, because there are people out here that intentionally mean to harm you, and you might not even understand it, but they do. They mean to harm. They mean to harm you, and it does happen, and it does occur. So how long did you date the young man that was this woman's son?
For years.
Oh wow, you dated for years.
For years.
That was okay. Wow. So for years, did he treat you in that same way as it's fine behind closed doors, but it's not okay in public?
Yeah, he did. But everybody knew that we was girlfriend and boyfriend, but it was just different. It's something, if you really loved yourself, you wouldn't have even accepted that. But you know, as a child or a teenager, I didn't even know what loving myself meant. Because sometimes the things you accept, man, it's very, very much so unacceptable. You know, so we went together for a while, and when at the age of 17 is when I got sick. So that kind of cut that relationship off. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow. So you dated for years and you dated for years, but not until 17 did you actually become sick. So you want to elaborate fully more about what you mean when you say that you became sick, because now we're going to tap into the part of, now she's talking about the mental health, the mental health issues that she faced and overcame. So
well, I had a lot of responsibilities as the oldest, right? I learned how to do hair because I had to do my siblings' hair and stuff like that. I learned how to cook because I had to cook, you know, looking at my mom and stuff like that. We had a whole lot of responsibilities. And being the oldest, you know, like if mama went somewhere, I had to keep the kids. I had to keep the house clean and stuff like that. And by the time she come home, it was messed up, and then I get fussed at. You know, I didn't get too many whoopings, but I did get them. And when I got them, they was really real because she didn't play no games. You know what I'm saying? Being a woman that was abused. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to smoke weed. You know, doing things a typical teenager probably would do. I'm smoking weed. This particular night, the guy came over to my apartment, asked me, did I want to smoke? I didn't see him roll up nothing, not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did participate in smoking the weed. But
Mm-hmm.
as I was smoking that weed did not smell like weed. It smelled like a chemical.
Mm.
And after that,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed everything was changing. I ended up having a nervous breakdown. From the weed and the witchcraft, I'm not God. I don't know which one was more effective, but I wasn't the same at that time. I was in high school. I was acting out. Mom had to come to the school, and things of that nature. I'm trying to fight, just acting ridiculous. And mom wasn't nothing to play with. She came up there and, she had to smack me in public in front of everybody. But I never was the same after that,
Mm-hmm.
smoking
Yeah.
that drug. I never was the same. And I was in high school in Travelers Rest High School. We was about ready to graduate,
Mm-hmm.
and I broke down. I'm hearing voices. I'm seeing stuff. It almost was like a LSD trip. That's how it was back in the day. They had, people used to inject. I didn't inject anything, but I was really hearing stuff, didn't understand what was going on, just hearing voices all in my head. It's
Mm-hmm.
like some say go to the right and some say go to the left. Who you listening to? You know
Oh,
what I'm
wow.
saying? But I used to couldn't, I used to see stuff. I look outside, the grass looked like demons. Now I don't know how demons look, but it was scary to me. It was just a horrific time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Just awful, 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 awful.
Oh, wow.
I
So, can I
I
ask a
used to get
question?
sure, sure.
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
sorry. Was you saying something? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
I wanted to ask a
prophet.
question. So, how old was the guy that you were smoking with? Was this somebody you were dating, or was this just somebody you had knew that you would just um joined them in on smoking the weed?
He was an associate. He was like a supposed to be some like a little friend or whatever. I didn't date him or anything. He was a neighborhood kid, which he ended up selling drugs. But yeah,
Oh, wow. So that was a lace joint, what they call a juice joint.
most likely it was juice with something, and it wasn't orange juice. That's what I know.
I'm not even gonna go there with you today.
Yeah,
Oh God, I'm not gonna go there with you today. Oh wow.
but
So
but the mixture of the roots, which was witchcraft and that drug, it might have been a combination of the two, but I wasn't the same. I wasn't the same.
did
I
she
felt like, okay, I'm sorry.
did she not do you think that she did not like you, or just some people just evil?
From the information I got later on, she didn't like my mom like
Mhm.
that, but she was in my mom's face. And in order to hurt my mom, because they couldn't touch her, they had to hurt something she loved, which was
Mm.
me,
Oh
her
wow.
kid.
And you were the closest thing because you was there at just about every day, you said, at their house.
Yep.
Oh wow. Mm. Ain't that something?
It is. It was horrific. I'm telling you, it was horrible. I used to couldn't look outside, looking at the grass, it looking evil.
Mhm.
I couldn't look at dirt on cars. It made me feel like my skin about to fall off my body. And
Mhm.
I used to hear voices. I mean, somebody can be in a room having a conversation. I could hear their whole conversation. Like my something was
Mhm.
keen, but I was
Yeah.
confused too about everything that was going on.
Oh wow.
And
So
my
what are
mom,
some? Okay. What are some of the other things that like you were like experiencing? Because surely to go from there to 17 and you didn't have no kids at that time, right?
No kids. No
Just about
kids.
to graduate and just about to graduate as before you get ready to even walk past to the stage through the stage on the stage, all of these things occur and it happens. So I what did your mama say in the middle of this? What was her thoughts about it?
She knew something was going on with me, you know what I'm saying? So she seeked counseling, you know. She she took me, I think she took me to Marsha Pickens at the time so I
Mm-hmm.
can be treated and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And she tricked me and had me to go there. You know what I'm saying? Because if I had known I was going there, it wouldn't have happened. But I was still young, and I couldn't tell her what to do. She was trying to definitely get me some help because she didn't know exactly what was going on. You know what I'm saying? She just
Yeah.
know her daughter was not acting like her daughter should have been acting.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a nervous breakdown. I was in Marsha Picking. And at the time when I was dealing with that, I was thinking about reincarnation. You know, I'm thinking um, that people came in different forms. I was just really out of it, to tell you the truth. It was very, very, very bad. Very bad.
Mm-hmm. And tell us some more. What are the bad experiences, just in case somebody noticed? And many times people call you, they just crazy. They just crazy. But sometimes it's more to the story than that. Tell us about some of the other experiences that you experienced while in the midst of it, before you even got to Marsha Pickens, and even after Marsha Pickens. How long did it take them for to be able to get everything that was happening to you under control, if they did get it under control?
Well, it was a process, of
Mm-hmm.
course. Um, I was really, I had got kind of very violent. You know, I'm thinking the community where we was just a legion of demons. You know what I'm saying? Because it was more a lot of people dealing with a whole lot of, excuse me, a whole lot of stuff in that neighborhood. And before I got to Marshall Pickens, sometimes I would just walk out of that neighborhood, just start walking out. And even at that time, God still had people to be with me. You know, like I had two people that would walk out with me, you know, while I'm walking, like almost like protection as I look back over it now. One guy used to have a big old jukebox on him. He dead, rest his soul. Another one is a preacher now, but at the time they would walk out because I couldn't deal with it. I'd be walking out. If it be foggy, I just walk out. So eventually, you know, I had to go to Marsha Pickens, and they was trying to get my medicine tweaked, trying to get it right. Nothing wasn't working. I was with mom or whatever in the kitchen. She give me this medicine or whatever, had me walking around like a zombie. You know what I'm saying? Just a zombie. And I could be talking to her in the kitchen, talking to mom. Next thing I know, I done failed out, just fainted. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. The medicine wasn't working at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Oh
And
wow.
that situation lasts too. It lasts for some years. Um, I used to shake like a leaf on a tree, just shaking. I mean, it wasn't working. The medicine was not helping me at all during the first, you know, process of that nervous breakdown. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And I end up having to go back to Marsha Picking. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't working at all. Only thing could kind of calm me a little bit was music. You know, music kind of soothed me
Mm-hmm.
when when I be going through stuff. You know, I had all kind of music. That music really kind of helped me because it could relate to me. Um, So it kind of helped me out a little bit, but I still had the mental illness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
I
wow,
still
yeah.
was sick. I still was violent. One time I walked out that neighborhood trying to catch a bus with rocks. I'm thinking it's a free enterprise world. Can
Yeah.
I go to New York? Can I go back? Can I get out of here? Trying to
Mm.
catch the Greyhound bus station was downtown. I'm like, can I, not in my right mind, thinking you
Mhm.
could pay for a bus trip with rides.
Oh
I used to
wow.
leave out of City Height, and I used to leave out and go right to the church. The church was on Parker Street,
Mhm.
and the church was closed. And at that time, I didn't know I was suicidal. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know I was suicidal, but the church was closed. I'm like, God, help me. Come and get me like you got Elijah. Come and get me. I can't do this. Why the church closed? You know what I'm saying? Just out of it.
Oh
And
wow.
then my mom eventually, she would come and get me. At the time, God was working in mysterious ways. It was two women dressed in white, and they was talking to me and kind of calmed me down.
Mhm.
And I end up, getting in the car with my mom. During this time, I didn't even like my mama.
Oh
I did
wow.
not even like her. I don't
Do
know.
you know why?
I didn't like her. Huh?
Do you know why?
I don't know why. Just thinking about it, I just don't know. I just didn't like her. I feel like sometimes I think maybe at that time I felt like I had a whole lot of responsibilities, probably more than what I should have had. And
Mm.
as I'm a grown woman now, I see some of the same patterns because I got kids now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Some stuff, it's like a repeated situation,
Oh wow.
but I
Mhm.
did not like her. I didn't like her choices that she made, and I didn't like her at the time of doing, that part of my life. And I felt like she was forcing me to, go to Marshall Picking and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that was part of the mental illness.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh wow. So it was just all of the things that you experienced and all the things you experienced and all of the things that you endure because surely that's that's suffering to kind of be out of your mind at the time. Was there any time that a medicine had worked that it actually had brought you back to um, kind of like normalcy to some degree?
Eventually,
Mhm.
eventually, I did get some medicine that helped me um, overcome
Mm-hmm.
the illness. But at that age of 17, I don't even know the name of the medicine to tell you the truth,
Mm-hmm.
but that medicine got me back to a better balance in life.
Wow.
However, I still didn't have no kids,
Mm-hmm.
but I was able to operate a little bit better. Then I got in a relationship. I'm at 19 at this point, and I
Mm-hmm.
got pregnant. I
Oh
got
wow.
pregnant with my first child, and I was good for a while, but I still end up getting sick again
Oh
with the
wow.
mental illness. My baby, I remember my oldest daughter, I think she might have been three or
Mm.
four,
Oh
three.
wow.
And I had to end up going back to Marsh Picking.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw my baby. They wouldn't let her in, but I saw her from the glass, and I just wanted my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sick. I ain't even qualified to even take care of my baby. Good. I praise God that she had a good grandmother, my mom, and her daddy's mom that helped
Mm.
me with her. But
Oh wow.
that what I'm saying, that stuff, it eventually just lasts. Stuff, it was triggers, things that trigger me to
Mm-hmm.
get sick again. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually they got me on some lithium. Now I'm
Yeah.
about 20. I was on lithium, and lithium really tremendously helped me get back to normalcy. You know,
Yeah.
I was seeing a psychiatrist. I had to go get that shot. They had to draw the blood and stuff like that. But I do remember that medicine got me back to normalcy, you know, and my doctor, I remember his name, Dr. Burnell. You know, he really helped me. I got back. But at that time I had, you know, my one baby. He was saying I never get off the medicine. He said I never get off, and I would never have any more kids. If I do, they'd be waterhead babies.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of them got big heads, but you know, I wasn't.
I didn't say it. Your mama said it. I didn't say it.
But yeah, I eventually could not even accept the words that was coming out his mouth, that
Oh
I
yeah.
never be right. Who are you? You're not God. You know what I'm saying? I always believed that God was going to heal me. You know, no
Yeah.
matter what they said, that was not going to be me. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. I just still know who God was. He bigger than the medicine. He bigger than doctor's diagnosis. He bigger than his mental illness. I always
Yeah.
believed that. And
Mm-hmm.
I always was in church and try to read the Bible and stuff like that, even through it all. But
Mm-hmm.
I knew God could do anything but fail. And I think if you got faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move some things in the name of Jesus. Jesus will move them for you. He'll heal you. You know what I'm saying? So I just couldn't accept what they were saying. I couldn't
Yeah.
accept that. I said, I'm gonna be healed. I'm gonna
Yes.
be healed.
And amen that you believe to be healed. But I just want to make this disclaimer. If anybody is on medicine and you was on medicine, she believed the thing, but she waited to be able to have a doctor to say, okay, yeah, now you are. But please, y'all, I have experienced this, and this is what I'm gonna say because I mean it. I have experienced this. We had a young lady that was our friend that we all went to school with, and we all went to school with. She's younger than me. She was actually my baby sister, Pastor April's friend, and I was friends with her sister, and she had got diagnosed with a disease called schizophrenia. And she went to a church, and a church told her to pull herself out of her medicine. And do you know that she committed suicide? And my thing is, yes, we believe in Jesus. Jesus is powerful. He can do anything. He can do it in an instant. But just because something might take a process for you does not mean that Jesus is not in it. And I say that because I mean that, because that was
Amen.
5-year-old, a 26-year-old young lady that committed suicide, and for somebody to shoot themselves twice, they
Oh,
intentionally did not want to be here. So I just want to say that part, y'all. Got to use wisdom. Got
yes.
to use wisdom. So we testify, and yes, but I just want to do that disclaimer just so people know that there is a she waited Diane waited for the process of her doctor to release her for something, but not for somebody just to go out and just say, oh no, blah blah blah. So it's a process. So I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say that because that
And
was a
you are so right. It's very important to take your medicine. And you need to really know that God is saying you are healed. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
That
mm-hmm.
doctor did not release me. A
Oh wow.
church did not tell me don't take my medicine. I was diagnosed with schizophrenic,
Mm-hmm,
but the lithium did get me more to a normal way of living.
mm-hmm,
But I I don't know exactly what day, what time, but that doctor did not release me from that
Oh wow.
medication.
Oh, for
He did
real.
not. He did not release me. I just was believing that God was going to heal me.
Mhm.
And I don't know the date, don't know the hour, but I did not go back. And I'm going to make a long story very, very short.
Mhm.
My daughter about to be 40 years old, and
Amen.
I am 40 years free from mental illness, have never took another thing in
Amen.
reference to
Amen.
mental illness. Never.
Amen. Amen.
I mean, I don't know. Everybody got a story. Everybody have to deal with stuff accordingly, but it is very, very important to take your medication. It's very, very, very important. But he did not release me just going back.
Oh
Mm-mm.
wow. So he
He
never
did not.
released.
Mm-mm.
Oh wow.
Never.
I thought he released you, and
That's
that's
why
why.
I was, we telling the truth today, baby. So I'm just
Mhm.
telling the truth. No, I wasn't
Mhm.
released. Mm-mm.
Oh
But I
wow.
never had the shake again. I never had to deal with a lot of things that I was dealing with in that situation. But even presently, some stuff, some stuff still can make my skin crawl a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
if I see something like aliens or something like that, an alien movie, how they do the sci-fi or something, I can't even look at it. I'm like, oh, but it
For
don't
real?
do like it used to. Yeah, like some stuff, like some stuff, if we go in a restaurant and see a ceiling that's not looking right,
Mhm.
you know how that can creep us out. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's just
Mhm.
little stuff. That might be normal, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow. Oh wow.
yes,
So now we're at the part of you were taking your medicine, and taking it to where it created a balance in your life that became unbalanced. And you said you were at the age of 20, and you're at the age of 20 and you have a daughter, Candy, your daughter, your oldest daughter. But you said
hmm
40, but you said 40 years old. But I know Candy is older than that. She don't look like it, but she is older than that. So you was
hmm
meaning Toka, when Toka was um Toka 40, right?
yeah. Talk about the hit 40 August the 4th.
So you're talking about your second daughter, about 40
hmm
years with your second daughter.
hmm
Okay, okay, okay.
When I
So
had when I had when I had my baby, when I had her,
mhm,
I was didn't never had a never another episode
mhm.
of mental illness, but I dealt with that after
Wow.
I had my baby for about 6 years on and off because it was things that triggered me. You know what I'm saying? The little triggers sometimes caused me to go backwards. I lost a baby before I had my second child.
Oh
You know,
wow.
I had a miscarriage,
Mhm.
and that caused me to have somewhat of a mental, episode. That kind of,
Oh
yeah,
wow. So would you, when you say mental episode, could have been depression?
could have, could
Mhm.
have.
Oh
Mhm.
wow. And you said your baby was so tell us what happened.
The miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know how you're trying to clean yourself out. I don't know if I should say that on air or whatever. And I was trying to do that.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay. I got you. I got
you know
you.
what
I
I'm
got
saying?
you. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know you couldn't do that. And I went to end up going to the restroom and something hit in the commode like plop. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing I know, I'm just bleeding everywhere.
Oh wow. Did you know you was
Screaming for my
pregnant?
mom. Yeah, I did. I knew I was
Oh
pregnant.
wow. Okay.
Um, And my mom them had to take me to the hospital and stuff, but that was devastating. So it could have
Yeah.
been depression or whatever. That didn't
Mhm.
work for me. I was really upset about,
Yeah.
losing that baby.
Oh wow. So
So
that would be in baby number.
I haven't. That would have been baby number two,
Okay,
the
so it was
baby that I
before.
lost. She
Okay.
was
Oh
before
wow.
time.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh
He or
wow.
she, whatever it was, I didn't know what it was.
Oh wow.
Mm.
It's something, ain't it?
Yeah, it
That
is.
in so many ways and so many forms, so many women that have, lost children, miscarriages, not able to, it's so many women that do be affected by that. And it is a very, very depressing, I don't know for you, but for me, I probably didn't have a name for it then, but I got a name for it now. So I know that was depression that had kids. So, oh wow. So tell us a little bit more.
Well, after I lost the baby, I don't know what it was, but the depression, I don't know, but it didn't work right. I had to. I would feel like I was breaking, so um I at that time I'm thinking I had to start back taking a little medicine to get back right. But after that, I was okay, but I was still kind of a little angry. You know what I'm saying? I was angry because I lost that baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I really, really wasn't dealing too much with anything until I got into another relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
got into another relationship before I had my daughter, my baby Toka. I got into another relationship and it wasn't great. It
Mm-hmm.
it was it was awful. It was
Mm-hmm.
like it wasn't real.
Yeah.
It basically wasn't authentic. You think you got something with somebody and you definitely do not have a relationship with them because
Mm-hmm.
they doing the most, you
Mm-hmm.
know, doing just all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I end up in a situation that I end up in a violent situation with
Mm-hmm.
him
Oh
where
wow.
I was charged with assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature.
Oh wow. Oh
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah, I really was, and
So
I
was
could have
it
been in jail. I
was
mean, they got my fingerprints down there, so
oh wow.
um,
Okay. Was it both of y'all abused each other, or was it just that y'all got to fighting that one day? Because you gotta think about it too. Sometimes the things that we actually see as children do be some of the things that we live out even as adults, and it's more easy to accept it. So how long did you stay in that relationship even though it was abusive? No, hold on, let me just go back. So were both of y'all abusive to each other, or was it you abusing him or him abusing you, or both of y'all?
it basically it was a fight. But far as being committed, I
Mm-hmm.
was committed. I don't understand how another person like the other part, the boyfriend being committed when he cheating. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like basically, we used to go out to the clubs and stuff like that. He eventually got me out of the club, but
Mm-hmm.
he continued to go in the club.
Mm-hmm.
But I had an altercation with him, like when we was leaving the club, he hit me, in my eye. And I was seeing stars. You know how you get hit and you don't even know you're finna get hit? That kind
Uh-huh.
of hit.
Yeah.
I was at the time thinking about leaving him alone, and I guess he could feel it. And yeah, so that situation was a fight
Mm-hmm.
when I was in that situation as a young person,
So it
which
was
I
you defending yourself
didn't.
basically.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But I came out there to I came out there really violent. You know, I don't know. It seemed like in my life I always had to fight. I'm gonna just be real honest. I had
Mhm.
to fight. Being the
Yeah.
oldest, I had to fight some of them siblings. You know, it
Mhm.
just seemed like I had to fight.
Yeah.
Like I had to fight for my mind. I had to fight. I had to
Mhm.
fight. I don't know. Probably the reason why I felt like I had to fight because I saw a lot of that. I
Mhm.
saw a lot of trauma. I saw a lot
Mhm.
of fights. I saw when my mama shot somebody. You know, I saw stuff. So
Mhm.
I felt like I just had to fight. I mean, you're not finna take nothing from me. You know what I'm saying? But how can somebody take something from you that's not yours? So
Yeah.
at the time you thinking it's yours because you
Mhm.
ignorant. You know, you just going on emotions. It's not good to be led by emotions. I mean, I know I've been there. I had to go through the process of not
Mhm.
letting the emotions just rule me. But them
Yeah.
emotions that have you going down a dog road. They'll
Mhm.
put you somewhere you do not want to
It's the
be.
truth. It's the truth. Yeah.
And,
And
and,
be
and a
by that
lot of
home.
times, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I just said,
Yeah,
yeah, it'll put you in a dark place and all.
yeah, so you get to not knowing that the Lord said, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. You be trying to act like you the vigilante. You
Mhm.
want to get the person back for the hurt, you know?
Yeah.
So you're not even operating godly, you operating fleshly. That
Mhm.
can get you in jail.
Oh
Cause
yeah.
you really can't nobody even throw a rock and hide their hand because we all got a story.
Mhm.
We all got some that we not pleased about. I regret that. It ain't nothing to boast about. But in my teenage years, just I always been in church, but I don't know if the church always been in me. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I was, because you gotta have
It's
a
like that
personal relationship.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like that sometimes. It's like that sometimes. Hey, I'm just saying. Huh? It's like that sometimes. So what
But
happened in this altercation? What you tell us exactly what happened in the altercation that caused it to be, aggravated assault with an extra what you call it?
assault and battery of an aggravated nature.
Yeah, what caused it to be the aggravated nature?
Because the person ended up getting cut.
Oh wow. Okay.
The person ended up getting cut. And only thing I know, when my head hit the windshield of a car,
Mm-hmm.
like when he body slammed me and my head hit the windshield, I just came out swinging,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But that was so horrific too. After that, he ran and the girl took him on to the hospital. But I fell on my knees and I asked God, please don't let him die, because I didn't know. I just fell on my knees, praying,
Jesus.
blood all over me. God,
Mm-hmm.
please don't let him die. I hated that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really a fight.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like that.
Hmm.
That especially I can agree with that and attest with that. I felt like that as a kid. I'm like, it's always fighting. It's always fighting to have your own voice. It's always fighting to stand your own ground. It was just always a fight. Like, you ain't gonna tell me nothing. You can't tell me what to do, but you still, oops, excuse me, sorry, you are still fighting in the midst of it. So I can understand or what you mean when you say that. And I always feel like as if it's in a fight, fighting to protect other people, fighting to stand up. It's always a fight, and it could be overwhelming sometimes to where even as an adult, I have said this to the Lord, even myself, like, God, it is overwhelming to feel like you always fighting. But I guess that's when He tells us when you lift up your hands and let him come in and fight those things, he'll fight for us and we don't have to fight ourselves. So
it's just so amazing. Even with the fighting, I felt like even growing up, to tell you the truth, I felt like the black sheep in the family. Now I'm telling you because I was dark skinned like my mom. My daddy was light. So I can even remember younger that they was trying to say I wasn't daddy child because I was looking like my mom. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff from your childhood be building up a lot of negativity where you ain't even realizing you operating totally in the flesh. So you feel like you got to fight for everything because you feel like you left out. Mama had 8 kids. It's amazing she could show love to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And having a baby, because I got a baby son. And as he was growing up, that's my baby. So sometimes certain kids may get a little bit more attention. I can almost imagine how Joseph brothers felt, because their daddy loved Joseph a little bit more, and it made other people have, feelings about that stuff. I might have felt like I was rejected. I've seen some stuff now because of my experience with how I came up. Not trying to do the blame game, but it's my truth, what I experienced. You know what I'm saying? So I had to fight. I had to fight. But now, from being at my church and everything, and realizing about humbleness, being humble, being humble. I don't have to be arrogant. I don't have to be walking in pride and stuff like that. It's a work in progress, but I understand some things. I understand some things. Some things is just a process that you got to go through to get to where you need to be. Because I heard my apostle said, the enemy don't fight you where you are. He fights you on where you going.
Yep. Ain't that the truth? Yes, that's the truth. So, yeah. And it happens, and sometimes I guess even us as kids, we can't understand, everything from a adults standpoint, because I can fully agree with what you're saying, and fully agree with what you're saying, and it's just something that how we are adults, and we're adults, and whether people want to say it or not, and it's never playing the blame game. It's actually telling your experience and the things that you have endured and the things that you came out. It's actually being honest with yourself. No, this happened. This is how it happened. This is how I remember it. This is my experience. And it's always to tell the truth in order to be able to heal. Healing is always the goal for me and for other people too. Healing is the goal forward. So yeah, we got all of these feelings, and yeah, we got all of these emotions, and yeah, you face those things, but at the end of the day, tell your truth, so you can be able to heal through that process. And I say that even to you, as I can say it even to myself. For some things that we experience as kids, it can be a place of it can cause you to be stuck. It can cause you to always revert back to that feeling or to that area. So I understand exactly what you mean. I felt like by myself a lot of times that I was like, God, I don't remember nobody ever taking up for me, but I remember taking up for a whole bunch of people and going to bat and ready to fight and ready to. So you get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
with that all being said, we're moving on to we want to talk about the steps before you actually met your husband, your first husband.
Okay. When I was knowing him from the community, he used to he was like a bully in a way. Nobody really messed with him. He always used to be into something. And I knew of him, and the way we kind of started communicating, he started talking to me, and I started listening. You know what I'm saying? I started listening to him, and he was so something else. I was surprised I was even listening to him. So I started letting him come over, but it was just communication, nothing else. And trying to tell him some good things in life. So we had a communication or whatever. So that's how I met him. And one particular, just moving forward a little bit, one particular night, it might have been early in the morning or late in the night. He was knocking on my door. I looked out the window and I'm like, what do you want? I'm in the bed, sleep, like that. And he said he was around the bush and he was walking around the bush. He said, well, I just came to tell you that my brother just got killed. And I said, oh, you need to stop. You just trying to say anything to get in this house. It's not happening, And he said, I'm serious, And I looked out there and I saw that he was serious about his brother getting killed. Yeah. And I opened the door and, I hugged him and embraced him. And his brother did, he did get killed. He got ran over. And from that particular day, I started seeing him in a different way. My first husband, I started seeing him in a different way. I really hated that he had to go through that. You know what I'm saying? And, as they was preparing to bury his brother's son, he had on this suit getting ready for the funeral or whatever. I don't know I can't even remember if I went to the funeral, but I saw him in that suit, girl, and he looked a way I ain't never saw in my life, He was actually gorgeous. And from that time, I was liking him. I started liking him. And from that point, we started dating. We started dating and seeing each other and everything. We
so you started dating because you thought it was fine.
Yeah, he was gorgeous. He was gorgeous, girl. I didn't know I liked him like that too. I saw a side of him I never saw before, and that was the sadness he endured. He was just gorgeous to me, and I just liked him, and we started seeing each other and everything, and I had to go to my pastor at what they call them reverends at that time for counseling. We went over his house, me and my husband, my first husband, for counseling. How about he done married us? We got on blue jeans and I'm like totally lost. What? We coming from counseling. But my pastor at that time, honey, he wasn't nothing to play with. I remember he rebuked me openly in the front of the whole congregation about keeping your sheets clean. It was horrific. But anyway, yes, we done got married. We got married. But so things were no. I would have tried to have a wedding or something, No, we did not know we were getting married. We done got married, signed the paper, and everything. But at that time, I was pregnant. I don't know if it was afterwards. I ended up being pregnant, yes, with his child, but we got married and everything. And even with him, he was something else, too. Because I didn't even know I was pregnant until he done kind of body slammed me up in the air outside because we done had an altercation. I had to go to the ER. My leg was messed up, like I was sprung or whatever. They done a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that part. But yeah, I love my husband. I really did. He was who he was. And, I guess he had childhood issues. Mm-hmm. I used to tell him the truth. We was married, and I remember I was like in a tub or whatever, and he came in, and I was telling him, because I used to see stuff, visions or whatever. I saw his death in a vision. Now, I didn't see the gun.
Yeah.
I saw the commotion. Mm-hmm. And I tried to pre-warn him. I called him by name, and I told him, I said, sometimes you got to just kind of walk away from stuff. Because if a person can't beat you, they'll get something to beat you with.
Yeah.
But I saw that. I saw the commotion. I didn't see the actual shooting. And I promise you, when I saw this, it wasn't long before my husband got killed.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So this you warning him prior to just to be careful or to be mindful, because you've seen it in a vision before it actually had happened and occurred. So how long was y'all relationship with each other before you even get into actually what happened? How long were y'all actually together? And do you remember how long were y'all married?
It was a very, very short period of time. It may have been, and this is not on record. I mean, but it could have been about 4 to 6 months. That's how short of a time it was.
Oh wow. So but besides that one altercation y'all had, he wasn't abusive with you, was he?
Well, with me being a fighter and, situations with us or whatever, I was thinking about getting them myself. I was thinking about, I'm going to have to get him while he sleep. Mm-hmm. Because it just, I was thinking of doing something to him. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about it because you weren't going to just try to beat him straight up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it was things going on in my mind because I didn't like being mistreated or, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So it wasn't just peaches and cream. I promise you that.
Yeah. 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 Because when you say,
I'm sorry.
It's just when you say he was a bully, and he was a bully, but if he a bully to everybody else, I wanted to know, was it the same with y'all as well?
He was mean. He knew I was pregnant, and I think we had another altercation. Because I used to live next door to my mom. She didn't even really get involved in that, which I thank God for that. But he was something else, I promise you that. And we had a little altercation, and he was saying stuff like, at that particular time, I stumped that baby out of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I didn't, I was thinking, man, I'm just, yeah. But eventually, it got better in that short period of time. We had the most amazing night ever, and he was telling me some of the things he wanted to do for me. Like I had a peace, like a peace. And after he shared that, what he wanted to do and everything, I promise you, he got killed the next day.
Oh, wow. So he got to be vulnerable with you and be open with you. And then not even be able to fulfill the thing that he had wanted, because we're not even just talking about that part, but because we want to literally get to his son. That How many months were you when you were pregnant?
I think I may have been.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possibility. I think it may have been 5 or 6 months, but don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I had to carry that baby while he was, he had passed, had got killed.
Yeah.
So I had to carry my baby. Um, that was so horrific as well
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
because he
You were
wasn't
just-
there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I'm listening to you.
I said it was really, really hard. I told God, I said, Lord Jesus, I can't even have a husband. I'm trying to do the right thing. That when he got killed, I told you I saw it, and I was in the store saying I'm gonna go home and cook him something real nice to eat and everything. I was in the store at Ballo's at the time, and I promise you, I went to the meat department, saying what I
Mm-hmm.
was gonna fix to buy the meat or whatever. And I tell you, this feeling came over me so cold. Now
Mm.
that meat department wasn't that cold.
Yeah.
A feeling came over me so,
Mm.
so freezing cold,
Yeah.
girl. And I was
Jesus.
like, woo. And as I was buying my grocery, going out the store, my brother was out there and I said, hey, da 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 da. He
Mm-hmm.
was saying something to me. I'm about to go to the car. And then my brother called me back. He said, have you heard anything? I can't quote him exactly, but I do remember he said, as a minister, I got to inform you that your husband just got killed.
Mm. Mm.
And my brother, he is like a comedian. He joke a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, ooh, you need to stop. You do the most. You need to stop. And I looked back at him. He said, and the person killed himself. And I
Oh
saw that he
wow.
was serious. So so I was about to leave, and my brother told this guy to get in the car and drive me home, because I was
Yeah.
messed up at that time.
Yeah.
And when I came to the location,
Mm-hmm.
all them people were out there, I just I just couldn't believe it. I mean, you believe and you don't believe. It was, ooh, that was awful. And one of
And
my dear, okay.
just I wanted you to tell them the background of the story about actually what had happened and what had occurred for him to actually be there and for it to actually be a murder suicide.
Well, at that particular time, I had to take my oldest daughter to the doctor. And as I was leaving out the neighborhood, he stopped me and got in the car with me. Okay. So we went on to the gas station to get gas, and he pumped the gas for me. And my baby was in the front seat with me, right? And he was getting back in the car, but she didn't want to get in the back, or whatever. So I told her to slide over and let him in the front with us. And he didn't do it. He walked back to the neighborhood. He just
Mhm.
walked back, and I proceeded to take her to the doctor or whatever, and then going to the grocery store. But the information I heard, because I didn't see what took place. But
Mhm.
when he jumped in that car with me, he had just got into it with somebody,
Mhm.
and he beat that person up. And I think maybe he threw something in the person's car
Mhm.
and bust the window out or whatever. And that person left. That person left, went home, and got a gun, a shotgun or whatever. So at this time, my husband walking back to the neighborhood, not realizing what
Mm.
what was going on.
Yeah.
So that guy, according to the information from people, saw him on the basketball court and was trying to shoot him at that time. And he was running and stuff like that. So I guess, he was missing him or whatever. But the person was definitely wanting to take him on out. And so from the information I got, he was going around and around. And they said he was trying to get in the house, but my door wasn't locked. I don't understand, but of course, at that time, that door wasn't locked. And then I just, from the information they gave me, he got shot in the back, and he ran to these people's house, and he was on his knees. My husband, according to the information of the people that saw, he was on his knees.
Yeah.
And he had got shot in the back. And the guy was saying he better come on out because he wanted to, finish him or whatever. But the person in the place told him that he had passed away. So at that time, I don't know if he passed away or not, but the guy took the gun and shot himself. So that's the murder-suicide.
Wow. That's so traumatic.
Very. And coming back, seeing the scenery, one of my dear friends, her name is Mary. We she was there for me. I think she was whispering in my ear the Lord's Prayer or Psalm 23. She was whispering that kind of calmed me down as I was getting out the car because they was helping me to get out. But that was horrific. There, I was like, Lord, I can't even have a husband. I'm trying to do the right thing, Then I was pregnant with his child. My baby didn't even get to see his own daddy. And it was just crazy, boo. Even at the service, I don't know how I even made it through, boo. I was like, at the funeral, he was up there. I wanted to sit up there by him, right by. My mama had to really help because I was like, really not. That was very hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
How old was he?
He was younger than I was. I think he about 6 years younger than me. But at the time, he was young. He was like, I think he was in his 20s. Don't quote me on that. But he was young.
Wow. That's just something.
My baby, okay, talk about me 40. My baby, 37 years ago, he got killed.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and from that point, I didn't date at all. Nobody, no more. I was told my child in my stomach, you know what I'm saying? Didn't have my husband there to help. That it was just a lot of stuff. But God be the glory. Some things have to happen. It's a purpose. In pain, there is a purpose.
Yeah,
so it was just horrible.
I don't think God intends for things like that to happen. I just think that the world is so corrupt that everybody has their own will. I don't believe that God has an intention for it to be murders or it to be tragic ways or tragic things that we have to go through or experience that was his intention. So
I don't believe it was his intention, but I do know it was allowed. From my understanding, people can't do nothing unless God allow it. Now, I might be wrong on that, but I just think about Job. God told the devil, have you not considered my servant Job? I mean, people do have free wills and people do have spirits on them and they operate in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? So, people don't like nobody breaking out their car windows and, doing stuff like that. And I saw that. I was trying to warn him, but of course, sometimes you get them warnings and people don't heed to them. but that was a very painful experience.
I know that surely was.
It really, really was.
That's traumatic.
Very.
That's trauma right there.
It really
So
is, because you always have them question, what if I had it, and then you get to getting tormented.
yeah.
You get to being tormented, like you don't even realize that's the devil's job to torment you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what if I could have done this? What did? But I couldn't control.
No.
What?
So I know that even when you had your baby, that how was some of the emotions or the feelings that you felt at that time? Because I know you're carrying them and you just lost your husband, but actually seeing his face, and surely I know that he has some similarities of his father. So how did that make you feel even at that moment?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, girl, I used to pray every night for my baby was born, and this is a true story. I would not lie to you. God, please don't let him look like his daddy. God, please do not let him look like his daddy. Because I didn't think I could have dealt with it at all. I did not pray, and I prayed and I prayed that he did not look like his daddy. And I promise you, he was the biggest baby I had in life, 9 pounds and something, girl. My sister was with me. Oh, that baby was big. And honey, he did not look like him. He was light skinned.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, my baby looked like me. He looked, I asked God don't let him look like me, but my baby looked like me. If he had on a wig or whatever, my baby looked like me. His daddy was fine, but he got them features like his daddy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His hands and feet, but my baby looked like me. But I prayed, girl, I didn't know if I could see that. I didn't want to be trying to go back to the nervous breakdown, Ville. I didn't want to go back that route. But I was so happy that he was so big and just so beautiful. And I named him after his daddy. Oh, wow. So I end up having a gift from that first marriage, my son.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Oh, most definitely. Beautiful, gracious gift to be able to have after such a tragic loss of his father and the things that incurred or happened in the middle of that, because that is definitely tragic. That's tragic for that to have happened and occurred. It's something. It's really,
is, boo. It really is, but without God still worked it out. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that, he worked it out. I end up having my baby. I had my baby. And even though we didn't plan to get married, it was a good thing we did end up getting married. You know how you can't see some of the pieces of the puzzle, but all these pieces fit to make the picture. You know what I'm saying? And so I end up getting widow's benefits. I end up getting Social Security money for my other kids, Toka and Candy, and my baby. I end up getting money from them. I always used to have money all the time, girl. I worked 2 jobs, But from that situation, it still was a way made for me.
Oh yeah.
Even though I lost, my first.
Because surely I know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask the question of, I know that was a tough part to be able to. Did you ever grieve his life? How long did it take you to be able to grieve? Because surely, at the end of the day, that's your husband. So how was the grief of getting through that?
I was mad. I was angry. I wanted to do the blame game. Every time something happened in this world, sometimes people start want to blame this or blame that person, place, or thing. I was mad. I was mad, and I was going through the grievance part, being angry, being mad, being
Mhm.
sad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
raising my baby by myself, and I didn't date nobody for 2 years.
Mhm.
I didn't want no man touching my finger nail. I didn't date at all until I ended up having my last child. The guy
Okay.
that drove me home, I ended up dating him 2 years later.
Wow.
So I ended up having a child by him. After all that, I didn't, didn't think that I would be in a relationship again, but I ended up being in one, and I had my last child.
Oh wow.
Yep, that's amazing. It just seemed like every piece come to make this picture. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He drove me home to the fact that when my husband got killed, all that commotion, and I end up 2 years later having a child by him.
Oh wow.
It's amazing.
It really
It
is.
is, because I didn't think I would even care about nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like
So
how I think now. But
mhm.
anyway.
We're not even gonna go there today. We ain't gonna go there, y'all.
I know
I
we're
ain't,
not gonna do
I
that. We're
ain't
not
getting
gonna
us
do
started.
that.
I ain't gonna get us started.
No, but I'm just saying, yes.
Yeah. So, but eventually, you still, that happened, and you went through that, and you still, kept yourself open to be able to experience love or actually care for somebody for having your youngest son. I want to call names, but I'm like, I can't call
I
a
don't
name.
care if you call names. They might care, but they'll be all right. That's
Oh
But I
wow!
had
So
my baby. Yeah, I had him. I
oh
had
wow!
my baby. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, is there any like thing else like how you felt like? How did it affect you? And I know you didn't want anybody to touch you for 2 years, but what are some of the other things that affected you after losing your husband, even in that way?
Basically, I really wasn't numb, but I was kind of numb. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Because it was just hard, Quan. It was just really, really tremendously hard. I mean, because I had my own place at the age of 19, but I lived next door to my mom. I couldn't even be in that house. I could smell his cologne. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because that night before he got killed, we had such a beautiful night. It was about to like it was like really hard, and I had to stay over there with my mom because I couldn't be in that house. And
Yeah.
then something was like, I promise you, even with him dying, getting killed, something like within my mind, or I'm hearing something, I don't know, like something was saying, come and go with me. You know?
Oh
Like
wow.
like it seemed like my breath was trying to leave me, And I was like,
Mm.
start calling on Jesus,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause it's just like I don't know what that was about, but
Yeah.
I promise you, like I was like, oh God, I'm calling on the name of Jesus, like Jesus, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Come and
know,
go. Come and go with me, and come go with me when God still had you here for a purpose. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
I'm gonna come and go with you if God still have me here for purpose. And surely that's amazing to be in endured so much that you endured and came out of everything that you came out of in experience everything that you experienced. Is there anything else that you can think about? And if not, just say some encouraging words to somebody.
Okay. I'm very, very, very thankful. I'm very thankful and I'm very grateful to have a relationship with God in the name of Jesus. because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to make it. I dealt with a lot of trauma as a child and seen
Yes.
a lot of stuff, but you don't have to be a product of your
Mm-hmm.
past.
Yeah.
You can arise above your circumstances. You have choices. Sometimes we make choices that it's not beneficial for us.
Mm-hmm.
Even at this age in life, I still have room for improvement. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like prioritizing things that's very important, like my money. You know what I'm saying? Budgeting and stuff like that. Loving yourself. I just recently started loving myself. I recently had to forgive myself for perversion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had to forgive myself for not being the mom that I should have been for my kids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I was dealing with so much anger and the fight mentality. But sometimes in this world, a lot of times in this world, you got to let go and let God. You got to let go and tremendously let God. Because I'm in a place now that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of stupidity, ignorance, not having wisdom, not looking at stuff spiritually. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of my own will. I want to do the will of God more for my life. Now, do
Mm-hmm.
I have everything right? No. I'm old as Methuselah. Now I ain't really old as Methuselah, but it's still areas for growth.
I'm not going there with you.
It's areas for opportunity. You know, it's areas to get off the milk. It's
Yeah.
areas to be mature. And sometimes I'll be like, why didn't I get it? Why did I not get it? Your free will that you have can sabotage some stuff. Sometimes it'll stop you from getting where you need to go. And
Mm-hmm.
repeating cycles. I'm tired of repeating stuff. If you don't pass the test, you got to go back through the same test.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense to me, but you got to learn. And
Yeah.
you got to learn so you can pass the test. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with me being in the church that I am in, which is New Divine Healing Outreach Ministry, it's real. It's a
Woo, woo,
lot of
woo, woo.
love. It's genuine. She teaches us what thus said the Lord. She
Yes.
lived by examples.
Yep.
She
Mm-hmm.
sees who we are, and she wants us to be the best that we can be.
Yep.
I done had to learn a lot of stuff. I have hindered myself, and I used to feel like I'm overlooked. I think because I felt overlooked as a child. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you feel, you better try them
Mm-hmm.
spirits to make sure who you're talking to. Like she
Mm-hmm.
said, who voice you're listening to.
Oh,
Because
on
Jesus
Sunday.
said, my sheep
Yes,
know
sir.
my voice.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? Sometimes my apostle call out stuff. I'm like, how in the world she know that? Because I ain't even conversated with her. But I have learned and I am still learning. I want to give God all the glory because
Mm-hmm.
it ain't nothing about me. If you
Mm-hmm.
can reach one person, reach that person, because that person might be in your line for you to reach just waiting on you.
Yeah.
Everything that happened to me, it happened. It happened. And I believe it happened to help me to be a better me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I really did love my husband. I love my family. And I most importantly love Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could have anything else out of this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
mental illness is real.
Mm-hmm.
Counsels are available in doctors. Seek them.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to a psychiatrist. Being depressed, being in darkness, Jesus is the light. He wants you to walk in the light. So get help. That's why we didn't need a doctor, he wouldn't created one. You
Yeah.
know, Another thing, watch what you're smoking. If you didn't roll it up, you really shouldn't even smoke it.
That
That
part.
part. That part. Because you don't never know who's who. Not even purchasing drugs. You don't know what kind of motives that person got. All they want is your money. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everything you need, God got it.
Yes.
I feel like everything you need, He got it. And
Yes.
I had to walk through. I didn't like it. I used to complain so much, but I'm learning how to put the complaint down, because what is that gonna change? What is that gonna change? And I had to realize, okay, pity party, get out of my way, because it's somebody else that's having an experience.
Oh yeah.
And if I could share anything to help somebody, I'm a living witness. God can heal you.
Yes.
And He definitely can bring you through.
Yes. Amen. 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 Amen to that. Y'all just heard it right now from Diane Benton's mouth that God can bring you through, and He can keep you through any single thing that there is. It doesn't matter what you experience and what you go through. It don't matter how dark or how dark or how filthy you think a thing is. God can pull you out of it. He is no respecter of anything. He can do it. He can clean it up. He can make it anew, and He can put you on a right path for His glory. Surely you just heard that. You just heard Diane tell a testimony on tonight, and she just had given her last words to be able to encourage somebody, and I wanted to say, tell them where can they find you if somebody wanted to reach out to you on Facebook, or if they wanted to reach out to you, where can they find you? And tell them your actually tag name.
Well, you can find me on Facebook up under Diane Benton. That's my Facebook page. That's basically the only social media platform I have. They can, send me a message through Messenger or something on Facebook. But I just want to say, God is able to do anything but fail, even through it all. I had prayed some gifts away. You know what I'm saying? I used to could smell death. Every time I smelled it, somebody would pass away close to me. I remember the last situation, my baby sister was having her baby, and I smelled it. And her grandma ended up passing away, but I asked God to take that gift away from me. I begged him. He done done some things, but at the end of the day, I begged him to take it away. But I end up start singing at so many people's funerals, so it wasn't nothing but a crying shame. So I didn't understand the things that's in me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand. I just didn't want to have to be dealing with a lot of the things that I didn't understand, basically.
It's just being
able to
comfort. I guess you experience so much, and just being able to be a voice of comfort through the time where people are going through, when they experience the lowest of the low. Being able to be there, even in song, and bring them comfort is a good thing. It's a good thing to be able to bring somebody comfort through song and be able to touch their soul while they're in the process of grieving their loved one. And so, I'm sorry. With all of that,
no, I was just saying,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did I overtalk you? I'm sorry.
No, you good. I was just agreeing with you. Okay. I mean, sometimes you praying about things that God done gave you, but you not understanding the gifts that He done gave you. You know what I'm saying? So with me being at our church, again, our pastor, Apostle, she want us to be all we can be, and give God all the glory, the glory, every step of the way, every step of the way.
Yes, every step of the way.
And I love my church family. I just thank God for my church family. Y'all been with me through thick and thin, baby.
Yes,
Y'all
yes.
done ride. Y'all done ride. You know, y'all. But I
Oh
thank God for the
yes.
people that He put in my life. Some real genuine people that don't have a negative
Oh yeah.
motive. You know, when they do something for
Yeah.
you. And I thank God
Yeah.
for y'all. Thank Him. And
Yes.
my
Oh, we love
children.
you
I
too.
thank Him for everything that He
Oh
even allowed
yes.
me to be a mother and a grandma and
Oh
thank Him for
yes.
even allowing me to be an older sister.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just appreciative of your journey, you saying. So with all of that being said, again, we gave you the taglines um for Diane Benton social media. If you ever want to reach out to her, speak with her, talk with her. And thank y'all, every single one of y'all. I always gotta say thank y'all for tuning back in to Soaring Above It All with Laquanza. And I always tell y'all, y'all are some big MVPs, the most
Yes.
valuable players, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. We missed y'all last month, and we pray, and we'll be here again next month. And I'm always gonna leave out with my tagline, and it goes like this: soaring above it all, soaring above it all, yes you are. Bye
Bye,
everybody.
y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Laquanza.
Thank you, boo. You know I
I love you back.
love you.